Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well, and today we talk about if it's time to go sell some of your UK stocks. And I think it's because of the big massive run that we've had this week. Stocks have gone up quite a lot on the UK front that I've had a lot of questions about, is it time to sell? I must have got about 50 questions on YouTube about it. I must have got about 25 messages on Instagram about it, and I think also there was quite a few questions in my Discord group or my Patrons group. So if you want to join that, there's a link in the description. Some really good stuff going on there. We're doing portfolio reviews, we've got a Discord group, and some really other good stuff in there. I think it's something really good as an investor, especially for the price. So if you do want to join, the link is in the description. But I've got quite a few questions on there. So yeah, I mean, sometimes when I get a lot of questions, I don't have time to answer them all, which I'm really sorry about. And my priority always goes to the Discord group as well. So if you do want a lot more help about the stock market, that is the place if you want to, talk to me about it. But yeah, I mean, I got a lot of questions about this, and now that a lot of people are starting to see profit on their positions, what should you do about this situation? And when we look at the stock market, I mean, the FTSE compared to like other sort of indexes, especially like the US front, has beaten down for so long that when we got this vaccine news, we saw so many stocks that just shot up, and they were kind of getting back to prices where they should really be, because realistically, we're getting towards the end of the pandemic now. It might not feel it, but we've got a vaccine on the way. I think that when we look at cases, I think it won't be too long till we start peaking out, and we'll start seeing that kind of the curve coming back down again. And I don't think we're that far off. I think we're about 3-4 months off. And when we think about the stock market tends to think 3 or 4 months ahead. So it kind of does make sense that we've finally got to this sort of point. And I think where the stock market, especially on the UK front, was positioned was just so negative. And now we've got some positive news. It's just shot up so much. And I think it's kind of well deserved, really. And we saw companies that, even companies that I weren't investing in that were doing really well because of this positive news. But even some of my companies, like Dark Group, I'm up at 8% on that one. It's a company I love. I've talked about on the channel so much. Hollywood Ball, that's up like 35% now, which I'm still annoyed because I wanted to buy more of. But hey, I talked about it enough on the channel. We've got other companies in here. Greggs is even going positive. National Express is absolutely huge. WH Smith's up absolutely huge. There was just so many companies that just killed it. And I'm kind of at the UK front now, like, damn, there's nothing I really want to buy at these sort of prices. So from that point of view, I'm not really buying anything, but a lot of the questions were now that people are up, especially on stocks like in National Express. Dark Group were up like 80, 100% on them sort of companies. So you comment down below, let me know what sort of companies you're up on, like in them sort of positions. I know some people have done really well buying in them COVID dips in these companies, and now, having that kind of trying to think of a word that won't get me demonetized. Having that, kind of steel to get through and buy them sort of dips is really paying off for them. When all that fear was out there, you're being greedy, and it's really paid off over these last week, really. So we're going to talk about what we should do in this sort of position. Now, I'd say, first of all, it depends solely on your cash position. You don't want to have too much cash sitting on the side because you don't know when the next dip is, but at the same time, if the dip is next week because the vaccine gets delayed or anything like that, you want cash there to go buy, because you look at the COVID dip, buying in that situation, if you get that dip, how easy it is to make money. So I would say, first of all, you've got to look at your cash pile. Now, you guys know me, I've been trimming a few stocks over the last 3 months, and that's led me now to get into a very healthy cash position. I'm about just above 20% in cash now, which I'm really happy with. And I'm kind of at the point now where I'm like, I'll carry on building it up. I might go to 30%, but I still want to nibble at something. So, I'll still be considering buying maybe a few stocks that I feel are, still undervalued. Maybe something like HUES, Dropbox, for example. So I might trim at them, but I still want to maintain a good cash position. So the first thing you've got to consider, I would say, is where you at with cash, because if there's another dip, you want to be prepared to get it. And if you are very short on cash, I would be more inclined to trimming, not selling out. I'd be more inclined to trimming. If you are solid in cash, I think what you've got to lose, because if it does dip, you've got your money to buy. So it depends on where you are with your cash pile to start off with. Next thing I would consider is your average in price. Now, some of these average in prices, like your National Express, your Dark Group, I'm not 100% sure the stock market will ever dip back down to there unless there's another recession or something like that in a year or two's time. I think some of these prices now are prices that you may not see for a very, very long time. And I'm talking 5-10 years mark. There is potential, but you've got to take that risk of, if you sell out and you trim, you may never buy it at these prices again. then you've got to consider that. I'm looking at something like a Dark Group, I'm looking at something like a National Express, and even though we've done a good run, and I can certainly see a bit of a pullback, I've got to look at them positions now and go, I've got really good averages in Dark Group and in like National Express, Hollywood Bowl. I don't know if I'm going to see them sort of prices again. And that's where you got to be careful of, because if you do trim, it's something you might never get a chance to do. So that's something you've also got to consider. So I would definitely say that if you are going to sell, I would definitely never sell out of some of these positions, because I don't know how, or you're trying to time the market, and it's all about timing the market. And like I say, I don't know if you'll get these averages again. So from my point of view, I would definitely not sell any stocks completely out unless you felt like the upside was very limited, or you saw another stock that had more potential than this company. That would be the only reason I would sell out. So the only one that I consider was Whitbread, because I think there's only probably 50 to 8% on that one. And I'm kind of like risking how much more gain I've got in that one. That was the only one. Everything else, I'm looking at National Express and I'm thinking, this is still early days. 2 to 5 years, the stock's going to go up, and I don't know if I'm going to get that average another time. So I would say it all comes down to you and what you're willing to do and your game plan. For me, a lot of these companies, I think Dark Group is only getting started. 2 to 5 years, this company's going to be even more than this. So I don't want to sell out of these averages because I won't get it again, and I still think the company's got massive upside from here. So it comes down to you really. I mean, I'm happy with my cash pile, so I don't want to trim. And also, I don't think I'll get a lot of these averages again. And I'm happy for a lot of these companies now to run for 2 to 5 years, and I'll get good returns on them because I think a lot of them have massive upside. So that's all the things I would consider right now. Personally, I would say your most important thing is your cash pile. I think if you've got a decent cash pile and you've got really good averages, why sell? You're risking that the stock market will go back down again, or that it will have a drop, and we might not get it. This might have been the last drop, because of this vaccine news. We might never see prices like that. So it comes down to you as an individual really, and from my point of view, I'm happy where everything is. I'm not selling anything because a lot of the companies I'm in, I don't know if I'll see low averages again, and a lot of these companies I think have still massive potential over the next 2 to 5 years. So that's where I'm at with everything on my portfolio side. Nothing's been sold. I'm still holding on to a lot of these companies because I think they have so much potential. So I hope that helped a lot of you guys, because like I say, I must have got about 100 messages overall on YouTube and on my private group as well, and also on like Instagram. So I hope that kind of clears everything up really. And like I say, I mean, it unfortunately has to go down to you as an individual, but that's where I'm at. I'm happy with everything, and I'm not selling anything right now anyway. So I hope you enjoyed it. As always, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you next video.